Welcome to PHP Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando, and we're on episode 267 of PHP Podcast.
That's right.
267 episodes.
Yeah, that's a lot of episodes. And we've been bringing you just straight goodness of reselling knowledge and experiences and a lot of failures and mistakes and fumbling along the way that we've made. But, we're growing and we're trying to learn and teach and all these things. And I think 267 episodes and the feedback we've gotten from our listeners has really helped shape us and create this community of just, I don't know, it's a good community. Like, I think we're one of the most positive communities that I'm a part of. I'm part of various communities, and there's a lot of negativity out there. And I love the PHP Podcast community because we really do come alongside each other and help each other and support each other and just share experiences. Like, our last Wednesday episode, we got to do hustles of the week, and we love those because we get to share like other things people are doing. And when we had our Buy Me a Coffee Zoom hangout, we got to chat with some of our supporters, just like hearing like people's like highlights, right? Like what's going well, and then like, hey, these are areas in my reselling journey that kind of are hard right now, and like just having that connection has been really cool. And so that's kind of what we do when we do our update episodes, is we get to kind of share what's going on in our reselling life. What are things we're excited about? What's the news in the reselling world? Like, what are the new hot topics that people are talking about? And then we get to share some BOLOs. So this is an update episode.
All right. So, hey, before we get started, though, Mike had just mentioned Buy Me a Coffee. If you haven't yet, we're continually getting new members, and it's not a Discord. It's not a BOLO group. It's just a way to say, hey, the podcast brings value. It's helped me out a lot, and I want to say thank you in a monetary way. And so we have a lot of our members that sign up for the yearly membership. It's just $5 a month. That's less than, I would say we're almost at less than a gallon of gas. It all depends on where you live.
Yeah, if you live in California,
with that transitory inflation,
it's almost $5 a gallon right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. So anyways, if you want to forego a gallon of gas and help us out, you can at buymeacoffee.com/purehustle. That's buymeacoffee.com/purehustle. There's a link below, and we're always grateful whether you sign up for a membership or you just here's a few coffees. Thanks so much for helping us out. We are always grateful. All right, so what's been going on with you?
Last week was supposed to be my week or this last Saturday was supposed to be my week for just doing pictures and listing. But there was a local church rummage sale, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to go on a garage sale hunt day where it's like 4 to 5 hours where I'm driving all over San Diego, where I've got these huge, map of places I'm going to where I'm not getting home until like noon. But I was like, there is a local rummage sale that's only like 5 minutes from my house. It's supposed to be pretty big. I don't have to go anywhere else. I'm just going to go there and I'm going to come home. And I get there early. I'm like a good 40 minutes early because, it's got to be early.
40 minutes.
And I'm standing outside and I'm like first in line and I'm like scanning, right? Because they got a lot of stuff outside. And of course, they're like, no early birds.
That is awesome. I've never at a church rummage. I've never been the first person at a church rummage sale.
No, I mean, I always try to be early. Sometimes they let you in early, right? Not all the time, but some places are like, oh, we can go ahead and get started.
I like to be a congregant of your church, and I just check out, your building.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be that cruel, but you can sometimes kind of scan some things out. So I actually like already planned out my route. Like I'm standing there, I'm like, all right, this aisle, I can hit these 2 like full table rows. That looks like stuff that I would like, and then I can hit this one next. And so I'm already like standing in location because it was like a big, parking lot. And so I'm like making sure I'm standing at the spot where I can just go straight down the aisle I want to go to. But then as more people start showing up, I hear some people like, oh, you're here again today. And I'm like, today? And then I've heard somebody else like, yeah, yesterday was pretty good. And I picked up a bunch. And I'm like, yesterday? So then I look up the ad, and sure enough, the church rummage sale was Friday and Saturday. And I'm like, seriously? Friday for a church rummage sale? Man.
Okay, I got a question. Was this the big Catholic church in like the country part of town?
No.
Okay. There's a big, huge Catholic church that like they start their sale like at 4 p.m. on Friday. Those are the sales you want to go to because everybody's too busy on a Friday night, hanging out, doing whatever. And there's not a lot of people.
Yeah. But the nice thing was, so even though that they were, open earlier, right, which kind of stunk, I start hearing them saying like, all right, everything today is half off, all marked prices.
Nice.
And I'm like, all right, so there's the trade-off, right? The trade-off was I get the leftovers, right? I'm getting the seconds, but I'm getting it at half price, right? So there's an okay trade-off. Like maybe there are things that people didn't pick up because it, just wasn't priced right, but at half price, it was worth it. And so, yeah, sure enough, like I was able to get quite a few things. Like one of the things that I picked up was a like an old school, what are they? Laser disc player. Like
those are beautiful, man.
Yeah, and it's an old school one, and there's a couple pieces that are like broken on it, like on the outside, like cosmetically. But I looked them up, and they sell for like over $200 if they're in working condition. And this brand, parts only, they're selling for like $140. And I picked it up for $4. Right.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah. And so
parts only.
Yeah.
That's great.
And well, that's how I'm planning on selling it. I'm like, I could test this and make an extra like $70, or I can just sell this parts only.
Agreed.
And just make a killing on it. Right. And the clothes was great because it was like jackets were $3, but it's half off. So it's $1.50. And, shirts are $1, but it's half off. So it's 50 cents. And I was able to, clean up quite a few things. Got a lot of like Columbia jackets. I got some Nike jackets. I got some North Face clothes. So I picked up quite a bit of clothes. I picked up shoes. I picked up Sperry topsiders for $1 each because they were $2 for the shoes, but they were only $1.
And even the market's gone down, $1 is not bad.
That's the point, is right. Like even if I'm only going to be able to sell these shoes for $24 plus shipping, it's like if I'm picking them up for $1, I paid $2. I sell both these shoes. I'm gonna end up walking away with like $40 to $50 profit, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And then it's easy. It's easy to take the pictures. They're easy to ship. I know what I'm doing with those. So overall, I did pretty good with that day. And it's one of those things. So I hate going to sales that are Friday, Saturday if you don't get to go to the Friday. But sometimes you can be lucky enough people are like, this stuff didn't sell the first day, so they're willing to wheel and deal with you more. And the other thing you got to consider is, okay, so maybe full-time resellers can hit up hardcore these Friday sales, but not all resellers are going every Friday to all these sales, right? A lot of times, it's a Saturday thing. They've got all these other routes. They're not going to drive to this one random thing. So you're not really competing with as many people because the Friday, not as many people are going. And again, places might be a little disheartened when it's like, well, this stuff didn't sell yesterday. So yeah, they'll wheel and deal with you. So I think it is worth it going to the Friday, Saturday sales, especially kind of, you can go in with that mindset of like, well, it hasn't already sold, right? Like we take this much. So you kind of have a little bit more flexibility there. That's, everybody's got to do what you've got to do, right? If you can make it to Friday sales, it might be worth it. In fact, let us know in the comments below. Do you do any Friday estate sales? Friday garage sales, Friday church rummage sales, those types of things? Or have you found that it's not worth it? That there's just not enough of them for you to make the drive worth it, or prices or all that? Or are you on the other end of the spectrum? Are you willing to go to the second day only of a 2-day or 3-day garage sale, right? Like, there's even Sunday. Like sometimes it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like who's going to Sunday?
Oh, in parts of Midwest, it's Wednesday,
Ooh.
Thursday, Friday.
Ooh. So yeah, which day is your favorite to go to? Would you rather be the early bird who's having to maybe pay the top dollar, or would you rather be the last one there who has to kind of scavenge around, but you might be able to get the sweet deals? So let us know in the comments below, what is your favorite way to hit up garage sales?
Interesting. Yeah, I would say, not that you were asking, but if you were to ask me, I would say garage sales early, rummage sales late. Just because, they are willing to offload so much.
They want
stuff.
it all gone.
Yeah, because what are they going to do? They're going to have to somebody's going to have to pick it up, All right, so mine isn't as exciting as yours. So I haven't been doing the garage sales, rummage sales. I've been strictly retail arbitrage, and it's been a journey. I always enjoy it. The reason I enjoy it is because I know I'm not going to be doing this all year. I know I just got to hit things hard for about 2 months. I do get to, explore different places, stay in different hotels, eat at different places. So, there's that component to it. And, a few things, though, before things really took off, I finally got my, garage space organized for FBA. So I always have boxes that are already, built and ready to go. So if I get product, I just fill up those boxes and I tape them. And, if you don't know, if you haven't done Amazon FBA has templates now. And so there's a difference between the way I used to do Amazon and the way I do it now. So back in the day, whatever was profitable, I would pick up for Amazon. So in an Amazon box, I would have like, I'll give you an example, like 2 Hot Wheel cars, and then I'd have 2 video games, and then I have 2 massive like Fisher Price toys or something, and then I'd have, you know, 2 plushes and whatever, and some of them have to be bags, some don't, and so that would take up a lot of my time. You know, getting those boxes organized, where now I'm just going to pick up one of the same multiple times. And what Amazon lets you do is you can create a template. And so when you go to send that stuff out, all you do is you say, okay, I'm sending out 5 boxes, and it already knows that there's going to be 9 of those items in each box. So that's all you have to do. So it's really simple. You can actually pack everything before, and as long as you haven't hit your inventory limits, you just print those labels, you slap them on those boxes, and you're good to go. So it's allowed me to be really efficient, right? And even when I'm on the road at hotels, it allows me to be really efficient. But on the other side, with eBay, things have been really nice. I got to tell you, that Hot Wheel haul could not have come at a better time.
Are you moving some of those pieces?
I am moving, like it's on the daily, multiple times.
Do you have, so when you went through them all, do you have like a whole bunch of them that are kind of like worthless Hot Wheels? Because, you know, a lot of times you go and you just see like a pile of Hot Wheels, and most of them are not worth anything.
So luckily, all my stuff was pretty much sealed, right? So I had a few items that were in display cases, but even those are selling. So if I had a bunch of loose ones, then, you know, I think I would have been in a bind, you know, because that would be a tough sale. But the reason it's been successful is because they're all sealed. They're all, you know, most of them are collectible pieces. So they're from the Red Line Club we had mentioned a few podcasts ago. And so they're items that they're not, I would say, in huge supply. There's a lot of scarcity on some of them. And so I think I'm getting a lot of international sales. So if you haven't turned on eBay Global Shipping, I strongly recommend you to do that, or even eBay International Standard Delivery, or none of those, and just put that you will sell internationally. Because where I think, you know, a lot of domestic buyers are saying, hey, I can get this anytime. People that are in other parts of the world are like, this is my only option. So it's definitely helped out a lot. I'm kind of just shocked at how much is selling. So I do have a lot of pieces that are valued $10 to $30. But, you know, I sell, you know, 5 of them. It's over $100, right? And they're only taking me maybe 3 minutes to list. So it's not too bad. So that's been great. I've been doing a lot of eBay to Amazon arbitrage. It's been beautiful, and it's been all merchant fulfilled. So it's already packaged and ready to go. So I'll buy it, gets to my house, it sells on Amazon. I just take off the old label, I put on my new label, and I ship it out.
And you just hope that they didn't like include inside of there.
No.
Like
I do
eBay,
open
thank
it.
you.
No. Okay, so
thank you card.
Sorry, I skipped that. I do open the bottom of it. I open it from the bottom. I make sure everything's all good. Yeah, you're right, because I've had.
Can you imagine if they ship it the way you do, with like 2 rolls of eBay tape per small box?
Hey, but you know what? It's all good. I've limited my my taping on FBA boxes. So I had somebody that I trust. It always takes somebody that I trust. Like if you randomly DM me a suggestion,
yeah, I mean,
sometimes I might listen.
So the fact that like, so for years now, I've been saying you're using too much tape, doesn't trust me at all.
Well, I did work for this person too, so maybe there was like an authority complex where, you know, when I tell you something, it doesn't matter, but when, you know, somebody in a position of authority, well, it's like the laser printers, right? Or the thermal printers, man. I feel like for a while I was trying to convince you thermal printers, and it's like it was
the moment somebody else says it, it's like boom. Yeah. See, that's now we know where I fall. No.
I listen to Mike. All right, so you know, here's one other thing that I think is interesting, and I'm not sure when this is going to happen. Have you gone to retail stores and seen empty shelves?
I mean, I haven't really been inside of a retail store in a while, because we have mostly just been doing like you know, the pickup at the, now that I've got like a little one, I got a 13-week-old or 14-week-old, you know, getting out of the car is a little bit harder. So it is kind of nice that I can just order and then they just bring it out to me. But have there been empty shelves?
No. So is it fake news? Is it the media trying to exacerbate things? Is it maybe we're in a part of the country that things are good? I don't know. So, you know, I was kind of worried, because there are certain off-price stores that usually they would have multiple tables of toys, and they're all set up, right? And I was thinking it was going to be really scarce, and I'm not seeing that. So
maybe we'll see after Black Friday. I think that's going to be because you know how they get huge Black Friday orders, like stores get all the stuff for Black Friday, and it's like specific. So is that stuff going to show up? Are they going to have enough stock for that? Or are they going to throw what they already have in stock on Black Friday sales instead? I mean, that's what's going to be interesting. But because I even think with that kind of like Target is going to put the things on sale. They're going to put out the ads for the things that they have a ton of. So they probably know for sure that they have it before they're printing the ads or putting up on their website. That's a nice thing too. So much of it's website. So if they're like, hey, we didn't get in those, crock pots that were going to be $15, the 10,000 crock pots are stuck in a boat.
You bought those items on Black Friday?
No, maybe when I was like 18, I was like super impressed by those prices.
When I was 28. So not related to reselling, but there's a stage in life where you learn that you get what you paid for. Right. And so there was a time when I was broke. I mean, broke. Like I didn't have a car. I didn't have furniture. I didn't have anything. And I would go to these Black Friday sales and I'd buy all this stuff because I'm like, hey, I only have so much money. That stuff is trash.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that with a lot of those things. You can go and spend, and not that I'm trying to shill the skull shaver at the moment, but I kind of mentioned this on a previous episode that I have bought so many razors, right? Like electric razors, and you get them at Walmart, and I spend like $20 on an electric razor. And it works for like 2 weeks, but it doesn't work that great. And then, eventually you use it. It's like it doesn't charge, or it doesn't cut right, or it snags. And it's like, all right, I'm buying another one. Like, hey, at least it was cheap. I didn't have to spend $100 for it. And by the time you've bought like the 7th one over the course of a couple years, you're like, I've spent more money on cheap stuff than I would have if I'd have just bought something a little bit nicer.
But that's why I think eBay will always be around, right? And the fact that a lot of the stuff that sells for good money are quality items.
Because people know, right? Like people know, like even sometimes it's and one of my bolo that I'm going to talk about today is kind of this idea too. But sometimes the quality changes, right? Like people are like, hey, I used to use this product 5 years ago when it was really good, and now it's changed and it's not as good. So some people are actually looking for like the same thing, but an older version of it because it was higher quality. So yeah,
it's true. All right, now. That's all I got for our update. I mean, I got plenty to say. Amazon sales are kicking through and all that. But I want to know, do you have any random stories?
Not really like a super...
you can't say that. You got to say this is the most exciting story you'll ever hear.
So this is probably going to be... I could be wrong, but most likely this is going to be one of the most exciting stories that anybody's ever going to hear. So we are planning on going on a road trip in December and kind of going to a couple different states. We got family in Texas. And so we're going to go on a road trip, and we're also going in Florida. We're taking my son to Disney World. We're super excited about this. For you. Yeah. So we've been planning this. It's for his birthday, and it's also like the second part of my wife and my 10-year anniversary. We like broke it up into 2 different parts. So we're taking him to Florida. We're going to go to Disney World. And one of the things is luggage, right? Like we bought from Costco like probably 7 years ago now, like not too long after we got married, like a really decent luggage set. And it came with like 3 pieces, and it was only a couple $100, and they have lasted so many flights, so many trips. But luggage is expensive, and we haven't been able to find that one. And we're like, do we really want to like go to an off-price store and spend $60 to $70 on one piece of luggage that we're hoping makes it through a couple of trips, And when I was at the church rummage sale, I ended up seeing that they had a Samsonite Luggage Bat, like, it's used. It's in really good shape, but it's got a couple of like little nicks and holes and scratches on it. You could tell it's been on the conveyor belt a few times. And it had a sticker for $8. It's half off, so $4. And I opened it up, and the smaller size luggage was inside of it. And I'm like, oh, nice. All right. So 2 pieces of luggage for $4. Smelled it. I'm like the weird guy, like standing there. Does this smell like cigarette smoke? Right? Because I'm going to be putting my children's clothes in there.
Even your own clothes.
Yeah. I don't want it to smell bad. So I ended up picking it up for $4. So right now it's sitting as we speak outside in the sun. I have it open, and I've been rotating it and changing the sides because I just want the sun to just bake any bacteria and stuff. And then we're going to spray the heck out of it with disinfectant. And literally it just needs to like last for 2 trips, right? Like instead of spending like $80 for a piece of luggage, because that's what happens. Like we just talked about quality. If you go to an off-price store and you buy a piece of luggage, it usually only lasts a couple of trips. but I don't want to spend like $500 for a nice set of luggage or $300 for like a mid-range luggage when it's like, it's just so much money. You know what I mean? Like, really, do I need that? I just need these. And I got Samsonite luggage for $4, right? Like, so not too bad.
No, you can't beat that.
Can't beat it. So that we talk about that with reselling a lot. Like sometimes reselling allows you to save money, not just make money. You can find things that you were going to buy for yourself anyways. You can find things for decoration for your house. You can find things to gift to people, right? Like I find new things all the time. Like I found a frozen, brand new sealed puzzle set one time, and my niece at the time was super into Frozen. These things sold for like $34.99 on eBay. It was brand new. I paid like 50 cents for it. Well, I could sell this, or I could just give this to my niece, and instead of spending $35 for a gift, I can give her this one, and I can spend more money and buy her something else. So now she gets a bigger birthday instead of just like, I was going to spend $35 on you, so I got you this one thing. It's like, oh, I got you this plus this, plus, you know what I mean? So it's kind of cool that reselling can save you money just as often as it can make you money.
Well, agreed. So mine is not as, the post office lied to me. So
surprise.
I had mentioned a while back that, I had shipped out something and it literally took 3 weeks, and I shipped it out priority. And they told me that, that's just the way things are. And I'm like, basically, that just sum it up. And I had rephrased it and I said, by the way, this is priority. This isn't first class. Like, I understand maybe first class is going to take 3 weeks, but priority shouldn't take 3 weeks. They're like, no, that's the way it is. It's on our website. It should, right now things are busy. There's that thing that's been going on where people have had to, stay home for. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not sure that's right, but I went with it. Now, luckily, 3 weeks later, the item showed up, right?
Oh, luckily.
I brought that up, right? But so again, I get another message. And, I always love it when people like send you messages like they're mad, and you're like, you kind of look at this and you're like, okay, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on? So it wasn't a big deal message. All it was is, where's my order? Question mark, right? And I'm kind of like, all right, come on, man. Like, first of all, I accepted a low offer on this. So, my mind already goes, you should be more than grateful.
Oh, come on.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Yeah, but if you ordered something...
Listen. In the comments, let me know. How do you feel when you accepted a low offer and then somebody's being a jerk to you? Okay.
But if something that they expected to get to them in a few days took 3 weeks to get to them?
No. So this has only been 4 or 5 days. And it was a first class free ship. Right. So I'm like, all right, okay. But, I already know that, what happened with that one package that was priority. It's like 3 weeks. So I'm like, I want to know for sure. So I started doing some digging and I found that, on the USPS website, and I found out that they lied to me, because they told me, right, that even priority might be 3 or 4 days. So this is what the website says. Okay. And actually, if I remember, I'll put the link below, but it says, this is about, what, dealing with what we've been dealing with. And they said first class packages, 2 or 3 day service commitments will also be extended to 3 and 4 days respectively, not 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, but look at the date of that memo.
But that's what's on their site. That's on them. Like, that's what they put.
But didn't we already show that there was something more recent that came out? Like, this is so this memo is from April 17, 2020. So their policy could have changed since then.
No, it hasn't. This is on their, look, if I backspace, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do right now, but if I backspace, it's from their current site. And they go to this link to read more. So I'll put the link below. You guys can look at it. Then when it comes to priority mail's 2 and 3 day service commitments now will be extended to 3 and 4 days respectively. Customers will continue to receive end-to-end visibility and improved product tracking, as well up to $50 in free insurance, which not true. There has not been improved product tracking. There is no end-to-end visibility. I am sending stuff out. So why do I say all this? I really think in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have to go full on FedEx and UPS, because I have not had problems with FedEx and UPS.
But what's going to happen when they're overloaded? Because that's one of the things that I would say, one of the very few arguments that I've heard that is like actually seems to be somewhat valid, supporting and defending the USPS, is the USPS has created a contract with UPS and FedEx that if UPS and FedEx can't like deliver things or they have a certain amount, that USPS will take them. And again, this is an arranged contract. So the post office isn't like being forced to do this. They created this contract. So as the UPS gets really busy, sometimes they offload some of their stuff to the USPS. And when that happens, like, because if everybody's moving away from the USPS as shipping times get harder and things, UPS and FedEx are going to get overworked and overloaded. So the USPS is not going to be as busy and they're going to be shifting stuff back to. So it's like, it's going to just be a circle of like, it's going to be a miserable shipping season. I think that's what I think is going to happen.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, I'm kind of just a little bothered.
But I thought for sure, like recently on one of our podcasts, like you read like their thing where it said specifically like the 2 to 3 week.
No, I was telling you that's what they told me. And they said it was on the website.
Okay.
So
I thought
if I'm wrong, let us know and we'll go back and research it. All right, let's do something live on air right now. Okay. So I just got a message. It's this PJ Mask toy. And they said, "Hi there. I'm in Sydney, Australia." And so it's early November.
Charging more. Did you know that? That just came out.
Yeah. I saw that. So this is through global shipping, so I'm not too stressed.
No, but that's what I mean. Like global shipping, eBay is charging higher fees for Australia. Yeah.
Oh, see,
and New Zealand.
I didn't even put that as our update. Yep. Okay, we'll look at that in a moment since it relates here. So it says, "Hi there. I'm from, Australia. How confident are you that this would be delivered by December 4th? What do you think, Mike? Do you think it's early November to Australia that this will make it?"
I doubt it.
I'm willing to take the risk and say yes. All right, what's the worst that happens?
It doesn't make it.
It doesn't make it. But and then as long as it gets to Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, you're fine, but like that just sucks for them.
I think it'll make it.
I mean, maybe.
I trust. So I'm gonna reply right now. I think if we order now, if I ship now, it'll make it. Is that a good enough?
I wouldn't word it like that because then you're saying like if it doesn't make it, you could say you didn't ship now, right? Say if you order now.
Okay.
Or if you order soon.
All right.
Right? Because then you're putting the ball in their court. Don't put the ball in your court. Put it in their court.
If we're able to ship by tomorrow, there's a good chance. There's a great chance. Hope that helps. Is that good to get enough of a message? This is live on air, everyone, and I'll give you an update.
I still think that didn't change. I mean, I think that's fine, but I think I personally would word it, if you order soon or order by tomorrow, I think it'll make it.
Okay, so I'm going to put, I believe we're able to ship tomorrow.
That's the part that I'm having the problem with. Because then you're putting the ball in your court.
Okay.
Right? Because let's say you ship tomorrow and it doesn't make it, then it's like, or if you don't ship tomorrow, right? Like, I don't know.
Okay, I believe if we're able to ship tomorrow by ordering today, there's a great chance. Hope that helps.
However you want to word it, bro.
What?
However you want to word it, bro.
Oh, I thought you said let me reword it. I'm like,
I tried to reword it. And
all right, we're sending this. Accept. Stay tuned to our podcast and we'll let you know what happens. Doesn't make it. I want them to enjoy this PJ Mask toy. Good. So we'll see what happens. All right. Hey, before we move on to, actually, I wanted to share this real quick. Make sure that you have express items on you. Like what I mean is like there's a padded, there's a padded express envelope for USPS. And then there's padded flat rate boxes, right? And also be familiar like with the prices. So for example, I had somebody the other day message me and they wanted a hat and it was Wednesday and they wanted it by Saturday. Now, if things were normal, I would say, they messaged me like, "Hey, I want to make sure it gets there. How much do I need to pay?" Normally I'd go like, "Yeah, priority, no problem. Like, you pay today. I put it in the mailbox, later this afternoon and it should get there by Saturday, right? It's Wednesday." But what we know about the post office, not going to happen. So I kind of said, "Hey, the post office is kind of sketch along with FedEx. So I think your best shot is if we do this overnight and it gets to you by Friday to make sure it gets there." Okay. Now, by the way, this is a vintage hat. Now, the hat was worth close to $100, right? They paid for shipping. They went for it. Not that they went for it. Like they really wanted it. Like I told them, "Hey, it's going to be pretty pricey. So we can, go the other route and do 2-day shipping and it'll probably get there. It's up to you." They're like, "No, let's do this." Paid $100. So why do I share this story? The reason I share this story is because there's always this problem as resellers sometimes, like we're like, there's no way that somebody would pay this much. There's no way that somebody would pay this much for shipping. And I'm telling you, during Q4, people will pay. So don't be afraid if somebody contacts you and says, hey, can I get this faster? What would it cost? To just say, hey, we can do this express. We can do this overnight. And make sure you put the retail, not what eBay is going to charge you. Put the retail, because you never know. There could be a hiccup where later on you were off on your measurements, and that can cost you a lot of money when you're talking about overnight shipping. But last year I had an item. I had it listed for $500, but I was just shooting for the moon, and the person needed it for a birthday. I think I shared this on the podcast, and the average cost, average price, it was like $250 to $300. They paid for mine because I said, yeah, I'll ship it overnight. They paid $300 to get it shipped overnight because it was an oversized item, and they paid the full $500 for it. Right? So don't be scared to do that, because listen, there are people out there with deep pockets that are willing to pay money for those things. So yeah, and the item got there safely, and I was glad to make somebody happy. So all right. Hey, before we move on to our reselling topics, I just wanted to share that we are on social media. If you haven't found us yet, we are on Pierce Podcast. We are Pierce Podcast. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as Pierce Podcast. We're Pierce Cast. Did I do this last time? I need to sleep. I've been sleeping 4 hour days. So it's a lot. All right. We are on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and another site as Pierce Podcast, TikTok. That's what it is, TikTok. And then we are on Twitter and Clubhouse as Pierce Cast. As always, you can give us a call, 619-738-1170, 619-738-1170. You know what I would love to hear? If you will call us in with some crazy Q4 stories. Like, hey, I went somewhere and it was crazy in the store and I had to fight somebody, or, somebody really wanted something and they paid this obscene amount. We'd love to hear the stories. We'd love to play them on air. You can always shoot us an email, piercepodcast@gmail.com. That's piercepodcast@gmail.com. And if you're listening to the podcast and haven't caught us over on YouTube, we are Pierce Podcast. Make sure to hit that subscribe, hit that bell notification, and that thumbs up to let us know you enjoyed this episode and any other that you watch. And as always, we're grateful for all the iTunes reviews. They keep going up. We are the #1 reselling podcast out there and most reviewed. So it's not because of us. It's because of awesome listeners like you that continue to support us. And we are grateful for all of you.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready for some reselling topics here?
Let's do it. Rumors are flying about eBay and immediate payments. Let's see what that's about. Amazon proof of liability insurance, cash out kings, and man has 100,000 Amazon account frozen. These are the things we'll be talking about today during our reselling topics. Orlando, take it away.
So it's possible that by the time this podcast drops, it's no longer a rumor. Because things move fast. So a rumor recently dropped that eBay, and this is brought to you by Rockstar Flipper, who has his own YouTube channel. And I don't know how he got this, but he received a screenshot. I think it was from a follower of his, that eBay is in beta testing for making buyers pay as soon as an offer is given. So that would mean if you send an offer, if they accept it, it'll automatically charge them. And what it'll do is, according to the screenshot that I saw, and maybe a lot of you have caught that video, according to the screenshot, it's before they're able to accept, they have to put all their information. You kind of have to do that with Mercari and other sites, which were established after eBay.
Now and that's the thing. The hard part with something like this is a culture thing, right? If you're on Poshmark, if I send an offer on Poshmark, right, I'm trying to buy a new pair of Prana pants. So I send an offer on Poshmark. I know if they accept my offer, I'm paying for it, right? That's the culture. I know that it's expected. Now on eBay, if buyers aren't used to this and they go, oh, I'm going to send a $30 offer on this item. And then it's like, how would you like to pay for this item? Here's all this. Like, I worry that enough buyers might be like, do I really want to fill all this stuff? What's going on? I'm not sending the offer.
But maybe it's one of those where it's already filled in once. And then it's always there. I mean, maybe, right? Because when you buy stuff on Amazon, when you buy stuff on Mercari, even on eBay, my stuff is already pre-filled out. Like I don't have to keep putting it in.
Right. But the thing though is they would have to make it very clear. Like the person, at least on the first time they send an offer, probably is going to have to read like new terms and conditions of like, if you send an offer and it's accepted, you're agreeing to purchase it. And you probably have to like go through all of this thing. So do I think in the long run, this is a good thing? Yes. I hope this becomes part of the culture of eBay, that buyers, if they're sending offers, I just worry that in the short term, is there going to be fewer offers being sent? Like if all people are used to sending offers and all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute. Like I have to like fill out this stuff and I have to be like willing to pay right away. And like, well, what if I've sent offers on 2 things already? Like, I just worry that it's going to take a little bit of time for people to catch up to this is the new way eBay works.
So the fact that they've been enabled by eBay all these years is going to work against us, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, whenever you do a big change to anything, there's going to be a little bit of a culture shock, right? People are going to like push back, or people are not going to be used to it. And so I just think like, how many offers do I get on a daily basis, right? Like I get several offers a day. Now, when this rolls out, if all of a sudden people who have been used to for years and years and years sending offers, kind of testing the water, like imagine if like all of a sudden it was like, there's a new law. If you go to a garage sale and you offer $5 for something and they accept it, you have to buy it right then and there. And you can't just be like, all right, when you're looking at, well, you accept it, I decided I don't want it, right? Like some people, that's how they treat eBay. It's kind of like, hey, like maybe they'll take this much. And if the person says yes, it's like, oh, but if all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, they said they'll take it. Now I have to pay for it. I've already paid for it. What's going on here? Right. So there's going to be,
I don't want those buyers.
There's going to be a growing
I don't want those buyers. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just done. I'm done with my inventory being held hostage for 4 days and then people don't pay. It's just annoying. I'm glad eBay is finally doing this. So hopefully the beta phase ends and it's available to everyone.
Yeah. And again, I do think long-term this is a good thing. I'm just trying to think of what are the potential problems and what could cause. And I do think there's probably going to be some slight reduction in the total number of offers that you get. And I don't think anybody would be happy with that.
I see that. I can see that.
If it's all of a sudden like, hey, like my this month I've received 50% fewer offers than I received in the last 3 or 4 months. Like
I could see that.
You might be like, I'd rather have 3 items held for hostage than to be losing 50% of the offers that I
let us know. Would you rather have your items held for hostage with more offers, or being paid right away with less offers? Let us know in the comments. So, but I'm excited. So it's gonna work if you have best offer or if you have cent offer, it should work and should be automatically. And by the way, if you're one of those individuals that got that beta test, whatever it is, send us a screenshot. We'd love to take a look at it. We'd love to share it on Instagram. We'll give you a shout out. We'd love to be able to share that information. I'm excited about that, man. That's a game changer. You know how long we've said, I mean, I think from like episode 1, we've been talking about it. So, and we've had so many execs make so many promises. So it'll be nice. All right. Hey, okay. So this is going to upset a lot of people, but it's just part of doing business. So it's been making rounds on social media. If you have not done this, Amazon is finally requiring people to have insurance. Like it's always been a requirement, but it's been more of like, hey, please make sure you get it. And then that's it. This may be the case that there is no follow through. Right. But so let me explain to you. So a lot of you are new on Amazon right now and you haven't been hit with the email yet. And the reason you haven't been hit with the email yet is because you haven't sold enough on Amazon, right? This is hitting people that are hitting a certain threshold. So let me read this real quick. As of September, this has been a while back. So, people have been talking about this for a little bit. So you may not have heard about this, but it's coming your way. So make sure you understand. Under Section 9 of the Business Solutions Agreement, you must obtain and maintain at least $1 million of commercial, general, umbrella, or excess liability insurance within 30 days after exceeding $10,000 in gross proceeds in a month on Amazon. So I know what people are going to say. Well, I guess I'm not going to sell. I'm just going to more than 10,000. I'm only going to sell 9,999. You can go down that road. But you got to weigh the advantage and disadvantage. So let me share that in a moment after I read the rest of this. So, or if otherwise requested by Amazon. So you may not hit that threshold and they still might contact you. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to contact you before that 10,000 threshold if you've had a lot of issues, right? You've had either a lot of returns or you've had infringement stuff put on you or defective
probably
stuff on
too
you.
what you're selling, right? Because they're trying to protect themselves
Correct.
from liability. So if you're selling children's things, you're selling things.
If you're selling toys,
anything that could potentially have lawsuits, right? Like the higher, just like when you're buying insurance, you're going to pay more insurance depending on types of items you have and store, what the liability is, right? Because it's a liability insurance. So if you're in a market or if you're selling a niche that has more of a liability to it, you're probably going to be, they're probably going to ask for this. I'm just surprised they don't make this part of like the signing up. Like you just have to constantly show you have it. Like it seems weird.
I do know this is going to scare a lot of people away from selling on Amazon. But listen, it's not that tough, right? We've even had an insurance rep. We had Ashley and I think it's Ashley and Haddon Insurance. It was way back, man. It's been like a year and a half or two since we had her on here. So Ashley Haddon, she has her own insurance. You can find that episode. You can find a link. There's no promo code for us. Okay. You can actually call like your insurance company that provides like your homeowner's insurance or your renter's insurance.
Who knows? Maybe Geico, right?
No, you can. You can call Geico. You can call Progressive. See, here's the thing. Is what I always try to explain to people is that a lot of people, for example, they ask, they DM me like, Orlando, like, who should I go to for my taxes? Because this is an online business. The thing is, it's still a business. It's not any different.
You got to treat your business like a business. Like if you're not willing, and I get it, like there's the side of I kind of want to go under the table as much as I can when you're first starting out, and you're kind of, it's like if you're watching people's dogs for them on the weekends in order to make a little bit of extra money, nobody wants to be filling out 1099s and reporting that to the IRS, right? Even though now anything over 600 accumulated over an entire year, you're going to have to report to the IRS. So, if you do watch somebody's dog or babysit for your friends or
government is watching.
Yeah, you better be ready to pony up and show all your receipts and stuff. But once you're a business, if you're selling on Amazon, you've got a store on eBay, you might as well treat your business like a business. The sooner you start to realize you are a business and you kind of stop trying to like haggle and be like an under the table thing and trying to avoid any fees, the faster you're going to grow as a business. Because once you're business minded, you're going to also be able to recognize, all right, how do I market my business? How do I have tax write-offs? And something like this in insurance is going to be a tax write-off, right? So there's a lot of benefits to having something like this.
Yeah. But what I also meant by that is the idea that, it seems very overwhelming for a lot of people, like in the sense of like, oh, I need to find somebody to do my taxes that's dealt with online business before. But it's the same thing, right? You're selling an item, right? You're shipping an item, right? And so there's business costs, right? There's expenses. You're renting a space, just like if you had a warehouse, right? You're paying fees. It's all the same. So to me, it's as long as you find somebody that who's going to do your taxes that's dealt with somebody who has a brick and mortar store, it's going to be the same thing with eBay. Now there might be a little bit of nuances, with certain fees and having to, show them, like I've had to do this. I've had to show them my Amazon, year-end report, and I've had to pull reports from my GoDaddy and stuff like that and walk through them. But it's the same concept. It's the same thing with insurance, right? If you had a brick and mortar store, you would approach these businesses and say, hey, I need insurance, to cover me. And it's the same thing. So you can actually go and check it out. You can call Geico, you can call Progressive, you can call Allstate, you can call Ashley Haddon Insurance. You can do all those things. And so don't be overwhelmed because the cost is going to be, I don't know. It all depends on your business, but I would think it'd be like, for you, depending on if you're not a massive seller, and so maybe $50 to $100 at the most a month, right? And that is a small amount for you to pay, right? For you to make several thousand a month, right? And if you're grossing $10,000 a month, right? $50 to $100 isn't that bad, right? You're sourcing that much, you're paying that much in fees. So, just go with it, just get it done. Because last thing you want, and I'm going to bring up this story before I was going to talk about this last. It's just something you want to make sure you get done, because when Amazon shuts you down, Amazon shuts you down. So this leads to our next story. I've always been a big believer that when people get suspended on Amazon, it's for trying to cut corners or trying to pass over something. So there's a story. I just came across this, and the title is Santa Barbara business fights Amazon to get its $100,000 back. So I watched this, and it's about a guy and that is in retail arbitrage, and he didn't realize that it was weird. So let me read this to you. I want to hear your thoughts. In the tonight's story comes from the world's largest online retailer, Amazon. Retail giant became what it is today, partly due to a network of small retailers who sell their products using Amazon's merchant platform. As one of these local retailers discovered one mistake, and they can lose everything. So this individual in Santa Barbara sold his product throughout the world, and even had his father invest in his Amazon business. But a paperwork error brought everything to a screeching halt on May 3rd of this year. They came back and said, I manipulated documents, which I did. Okay. My mistake 100% that I manipulated documents. And so they're closing my account. They said the mistake happened because he didn't understand the Amazon system and couldn't get anyone from Amazon to help him. And so he says, so what I was doing was retail arbitrage. I'm buying from retailer at a very discounted price and then reselling it to the consumer paying taxes. The consumer pays taxes again, which is not allowed. That's why Amazon froze his account and almost $100,000 of the money.
I don't think the government cares about that. They don't mind if you pay taxes twice.
No, and I don't think Amazon cares about that you're doing retail arbitrage.
What I bet that it was manipulated document was a fake receipt that he was getting. I don't know, try and get
an invoice
ungated
or something.
Yeah, to try and get ungated in something, right? Like, of course I could sell Nerf. I bought this from a Nerf wholesaler, and I have this Nerf document, right? Like,
so
that's what
I will say.
I would imagine.
I am not saying anybody. I'm not giving names. I will take this to my grave. I've never
heard of the government saying that you paid too much in taxes. The customer already paid taxes. We cannot accept any more taxes on the. I mean, the government is trying to tax as much as they can, and at the end of the year, they basically force you to figure out if they made any mistakes to get money back. Right?
No, true. No, the government will get its due always. But what I'm trying to tell you is, I do know there are individuals in the reselling space that sell ungating materials that are invoices that all you have to do is backspace the owner information and put your name in there, and you never have to order from anybody. You just send that invoice into Amazon. And is it possible what this individual did is the reason they got suspended? Maybe, right? Maybe. And so, but here's so it's not retail arbitrage that is the issue, right? Because Amazon knows there's retail arbitrage. It's not like a hidden secret. I mean, it talks about its third-party sellers all the time. So what I found was interesting was that eventually, they did this news story. They called Amazon, and then at the end, an Amazon spokesperson agreed to look into it. Almost 3 weeks later, Amazon reactivated the account and released $100,000. So I'm like, okay, so this is a non-story that's been made into a story.
Yeah, it's a good clickbait.
But this is why I wanted to share this, is with Amazon. Those of you that are brand new on Amazon right now, and you're making a killing and you're making tons of money, do not try to game the system on Amazon, because the last thing you want, I know people that have had, they've had the same story. They've had, not only have they had, I know one person had $40,000 in their balance and Amazon would not release it. And on top of that, they had hundreds of items in a warehouse that they couldn't sell. And it took months to get that restored. And when you sign that TOS electronically, the terms of service, it's in there. You can't sue Amazon. You can't do this, can't do that. Now you can always work around that.
It's their sandbox,
right? It's their sandbox.
And you're going to have a lot of, there's problems with private label, right? You do private label, you risk the chance of somebody else figuring out who your manufacturer is. You risk the chance of Amazon, if it's a big item and it's really killing it, jumping on and basically replicating your item. There's a lot of issues. You're risking a lot more money up front on something that might not sell. So there's definitely issues with private label. But I think retail arbitrage is a huge gray area, right? Like, I'm sure legally, technically, there is something with those that taxing. That's why you do wholesale and then retail. is there's probably laws written about taxing and stuff. Again, I don't think that's probably the main reason why Amazon's doing that, but that's probably one of the laws that a company like Nike or Nerf or Hot Wheels is going to use in order to say, hey, you can't just go to a store and buy our stuff and then sell it, right? Because that's our name on it. You're not a licensed distributor. And they could say, well, the reason we can do
the warranty is the main reason.
Well, warranty is going to be a huge one. But again, that's like internal policy. But if they can use legislation of, hey, there's technically this law in place that a customer, you can't charge twice on the same new item. So that might be a law that they're able to weaponize in order to prevent. But that the real reason is the companies, they've got their name on it. They've got their warranty issues. They've got all of these things on it. And so I think it is a huge gray area when you're doing retail arbitrage. Now, of course, people make a ton of money every single year doing retail arbitrage. But I think it's a gray area that you got to be careful on because, yeah, that hammer can come down anytime. You might be gated in something that you used to be ungated in, but then private label has issues too. So no matter what game you're playing in Amazon, unless you're the one making the product and selling it, it's your own invention and you've got the copyright laws on it. Like you're definitely playing with some fire and anything could happen.
But I want to be clear. That should not stop you from doing Amazon. You just got to tread carefully, but
I still think though,
money.
I think we got to be careful saying that because I think one of the hard parts is you were in Amazon at a time when you were able to get ungated in a lot of things. And I probably even if I would have started 3 years ago when we first started the podcast, there'd probably be a lot of things I'd be ungated in. But I think the regulations and rules and restrictions are so much higher now that unless you're just selling books on Amazon, your chances of getting ungated in toys or something like that is significantly harder. So it's hard to tell people you should start Amazon.
Well, I think it's more difficult. I have no disagreement, but I think there's a lot of money being left on the table if you don't even try Amazon. I think you should. I think every individual should at least try it once. And I've had people DM me, "Hey, Orlando, I tried it. I was frustrated. I was gated and everything. I don't think I'm doing this." That's fine. But I really think of the velocity of sales during Q4 and the money that can be made. It's something I can't turn away from.
Yeah, I just hope that we're not selling a dream, but
I'm not selling a dream.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying I hope we're not encouraging something like I can go back and say you should have bought Bitcoin back when I bought Bitcoin when it was $400. You know what I mean? I
hate it when people say that.
So is that what we're doing? We're just be on Amazon. And it's how many people? It's I can't do what you're doing. It's not the same Amazon. I mean, I can't be in the same place as you. So and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's people who can join yesterday. Right. And be at a place where they're ungated. But I think a lot more of that is it's more challenging. And I think you probably are going to have to go the route of actually getting distribution from the company. And that's a lot harder.
I think so. But actually it's not. Actually, I mean, there's plenty of companies and people share it all the time. You can just go to Reezy Resell's YouTube channel. There's plenty. They tell you what distributors you can buy from, get an invoice, and you'll get ungated. Now, I personally think you got to be careful, like you said, because I paid $1,000 one time for a bunch of CDs. I was ungated on CDs, and there was a CD gating apocalypse that happened 4 years ago or something. I bought $1,000 in CDs. I thought it was going to be enough, and I didn't. They still didn't ungate me, and I haven't had any bad metrics. I've been at close to 100% on everything since day one. So, but again, if you are doing Amazon, just be careful. Just be careful. All right. Hey, so I thought this was an interesting story, and maybe this is something that a lot of you can do if you want. And I'm not trying to advertise for this company, but I didn't know this existed. So, for researching for the podcast, I Google a lot of stuff and I'm looking, and I guess there's groups out there that will buy your PS5s or your Nintendo Switches or wherever the hot item is, and then they'll resell it. So you'll be able to sell it to them. So let's say you bought a PS5, I think for $500. They'll buy it from you instantly for $700, and then they'll flip it for $1,000. Right. And so, there's this company, Cash Out Kings here. Let me read it real quick. Struggling to buy a PS5. Not these guys. They're snagging hundreds of them each day. I still want to get one for my son. And I refuse to pay the higher price. And I'm a reseller. A mysterious business called Cash Out Kings has been paying scalpers across North America $700 or more for newly purchased PS5s and Xbox Series X consoles. The goal: resell them again for even higher price. The group receives and sells roughly 300 to 400 video game consoles a day, according to one of the owners of Cash Out Kings. And so And so they asked him, tell us a little bit. So he says, when restocks happen, we usually receive 1 to 1,500 units that same week, and then we trickle down a couple hundred a day after that. So they constantly have this. Now, this is what I thought was crazy. They facilitate the buying. Cash Out Kings has pickup locations in major cities across the U.S., along with several warehouses to store the inventory. And so they are the ultimate retail arbitrage to me when it comes to PS5s.
Yeah, I mean, it's a smart thing. They're kind of acting like as a broker almost. They're willing to pay everyday shoppers to be middletmen, right? Because that's the thing, is you can't necessarily go out, and there could be limits on things. It reminds me, years ago I watched the Breaking Bad, and they kind of discussed getting the people making meth, right? Like there's an over-the-counter drug that we can get. I think it's in a common like asthma medicine.
Are we gonna get banned like YouTube right now?
Yeah, I'm describing how to make drugs for real. But there's a over-the-counter like cold medicine that you can get, and it's one of the ingredients needed in order to make like meth, right? So they have limits. Like you have to give your ID, they scan it. You can, as a household, only buy so many. So they kind of described on Breaking Bad that they had, I think they called them Smurfs, right? And there were people who would go, and every month they would get the limit, the total amount that they can pick. And then they would go and they'd give this to like the drug dealers, who would basically be able to collect them enough to make what they needed. And they use these people as like the middlemen to do this. And that's what's happening here is, right? Like I can't necessarily go out and when there's a big drop and get to all these stores and do it. But if I can say, hey, I could sell these for 1,000. They're in the store, they're 500. I'm willing to meet you halfway. I'll give you 700 to do it. Yeah, if you can get a couple hundred people to be doing this for you, basically doing your shopping, and they make a chunk of the profit, dude, that's a great deal. Until eventually there might come a point when they've got a warehouse full of these and the price drops, right? Like then they're going to be the one. But again, they're the one assuming the risk on this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's kind of like, there's always an argument like, people should, oh man, we're getting controversial. People should be paid higher wages, and look how much managers are being paid, or look at how much a business owner is making. Why aren't they paying their employees more? Well, the reason is because that business owner is taking on all that risk.
Yeah.
Right. That's why they're able to make a lot more than the employee. The employee works, they clock out, they go home, they have no risk.
Yeah. But if the company gets sued, the employee isn't putting their house up to buy lawyers.
Correct. Right? And that's why there's a stark difference, right? There needs to be that difference. And it's the same thing here. I thought there was a great point that was made here. It says they're talking to people that run the group. Let me read this out real quick. Cash Out Kings is but one of several groups that specialize in bulk buying from scalpers. I hate that word. We found at least 4 other groups on Twitter that also promise to buy up consoles in exchange for cash. So maybe this is something you might be at a Walmart or Target, and you want to make some quick money and not list it on eBay. You can maybe just find one of these groups.
Bing, bang, boom.
So you can use our promo code. I'm just joking. We're not affiliated.
So we are starting a new thing here where if you want to send us your PS5,
Pure Hustle Productions,
we'll send you a thank you.
There you go. We found at least 4 other groups, and apparently services have been in demand. This is what I thought was interesting. It comes down to time and risk for most of us who are copying 10 plus consoles a drop. According to one member of reselling group, if you sell these by one, it's going to take a lot of time. If you sell on eBay, scammers breed there, and eBay offers little to no protection for sellers. If you're selling local in person, means can get dangerous. The reseller adds, cash out services are emerging as a go-to way to offload stock. I think that's a valid point, right? I mean, I hate it. I hate selling these kind of, like, I don't mind selling vintage pieces that cost several $100s because there's no way really to scam me, right? I mean, you can say there's a flaw or whatever, but when it comes to electronics, that's where there's a lot of scamming, especially when it comes to PS5.
Well, and I think even just like revenge and hate bidding, right? Like I mean, how many times in the news recently has it been like praised that people have created like basically bots that are bidding up stuff to hurt scalpers, right? Look at the scalpers who are selling, these PS5s. And so all of a sudden, or whatever new, video card that dropped, right? For computers. So this video card dropped. And so scalpers bought them all. And so what people are doing to get revenge is they're bidding up on them on auctions for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. And then you got to wait until it sells for a ridiculous price. Oh, look, nobody ends up paying for this. They've got to relist it. As soon as they relist it, 30,000, 40. People are just like revenge bidding in order to hurt these scalpers. So yeah, I can definitely see this. Like that's one of the things that can happen. You're putting up a PS5 on eBay. People might be mad. You might be getting people who are buying it and never intending to pay. And you're constantly, but yeah, if you've got 10 of them and you can just drop them off at a location and get cash same day, that's definitely worth the little bit you're losing of not having to deal with that potentially.
Yeah, I agree. So anyways, maybe check it out. Don't know. I thought it was an interesting story to bring on the podcast. All right. Hey, so that is our random, not random stories. They are kind of random, but our reselling topics. By the way, before we move forward, we had mentioned this product before. We have these things called skull shavers, and they do amazing work. And you can use the skull shaver anytime, whether it be you're getting ready in the morning, whether, today when I was running late and I had to get the door for Mike so we can record the podcast, he saw me there. I was trying to look all clean for the podcast. Whether it be, you're on the road trying to get to the office, skull shaver is an awesome product. Mike and I use it all the time. Definitely worth it. So go to skullshaver.com and use our promo code PURE, and you'll be able to snag one of those skull shavers and maybe gift a few for Christmas. So
yeah.
All right. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Bolo.
What's your bolo?
All right. Am I going first?
You should
All
go
right.
first.
This one's weird. I don't even know. I haven't even researched this enough to know for sure. But since I've got a baby at home, right? One of the things that you've got to do when you have a baby is buy diapers. And diapers can get expensive. And one of the nice things is when you have a baby shower, people gift you a bunch of them. And so we've got a lot of different diapers. And we've got a brand we like. We like Honest Brand. Honest Brand's a brand we like. And we noticed that there has been a kind of a quality drop since my first child. And a lot of people have said this, like Honest has grown as a company. Maybe some new stockholders, I think they became public, different things happen. And so the formula, as it were, changes the way they make the diapers. And so one of the things that's really nice when it comes to diapers is a baby outgrows them. Sometimes people buy a lot. And I've noticed when I was on OfferUp, people are selling diapers, new boxes of diapers for sometimes like half the price of a box of diapers at a store, right? Because maybe they got a whole bunch of diapers, their kid grew out of them. What do they do with these? They've got, 3 boxes of size 3 and now their kid is a 4. And so you can actually pick up, if you're sourcing right, diapers from people locally of their kids growing out of them. And you can even exchange sometimes like Targets will exchange brand for brand. But some brands actually have prints that are really popular. The print comes out, they have a limited run. Honest is one of those companies. Other companies have certain prints. And sometimes it's like a specific year. It's like this year, these diapers never blew out, or they never, they held pee better, whatever it is. And so there are certain diapers that people are looking for. And so if you can source them or you've got some left over, it might be something worth putting up on eBay.
So there is there's a market for vintage stuff, diapers. Whether it be Huggies, it be whatever. And we don't need to go all down the road of why people would buy these, maybe for their kids or whatever. But there is a market out there. So definitely look them up if you find them in stores. I've seen, there's some resellers I've seen that have picked up, like, I think it was like one was, there's one in here too. I think it was like a vintage Disney Huggies, and they sold it it was sealed, and it was from like the 90s, and it sold for good money. So
yeah. So yeah, maybe you're at garage sales. So yeah, there's the vintage, right? Like those might be, I think maybe a little more collectible. Someone's looking for something that, but there's also, like I said, it might just be a print. Like there was a really cute pineapple print. They came out last year in the spring for Honest or whatever, right? Like somebody really liked that one. They don't make that print anymore. And you might be able to source a bunch of them, OfferUp or on Facebook Marketplace. Somebody's kid outgrew their diapers. They've got a couple boxes left. You get them at half price and they sell for even more than they would sell for at a store because people are looking for certain prints. So you never know. Just might be a niche to look into.
Yeah. I personally will never pick them up. Unless it's a lot of money, but yeah. I see.
Money's money.
No, I agree. All right. Hey, so my bolo is look at tags. That's not my bolo. So there's 2 tags that right now I think are going to keep going up in price over time. One is, did you ever go to the Warner Brothers studio store, or they shut down by the time you were a kid?
I don't really remember them.
Okay. Maybe it's a decade difference, which there's a decade difference between Mike and I. So Warner Brothers Studio Shirts. So if you find a tag, it's a black tag, it has a WB, or it says Warner Brothers Studio Store. And usually those shirts are money, right? The easy ones are the Space Jam shirts. I've picked those up for $3 or $4 before, and I've sold them for 80 plus. Sometimes they go for over 100, right? And it all depends, right? Whether it be Tweety Bird, whether it be, a Taz, a huge Taz on there. If it says Warner Brothers Studio Store, it's definitely worth looking up. The other one is Disney Store. Now, Disney Store, there's a lot more around because Disney Store is still around. It's not like Warner Brothers that shut down a while back, but they're shutting down even more. So I've shared this on the podcast that a lot of them have shut down, and they're now like a section of a Macy's store, or they're just not available anymore. Or sometimes, there's certain limited runs of certain items, whether it be plush, whether it be a toy, whether it be, pajamas. And so Disney Store does bring in money. So if you're at the thrift, and it says Disney Store, it's worth a look up. It may not be single stitch and like from the 90s, but maybe it's the early 2000s, and it's still maybe money. So look for those two tags, Warner Brothers Studio Store or Disney Store. So that is my BOLO.
Good stuff.
All right. What are you looking forward to here?
I'm really looking forward to learning about the diaper market. I think that's a niche that I'm going to do some research into. No, I'm just joking. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe let us know below. Have you flipped some diapers? Have you sold some hardcore diapers? Is that a market? And have I ruined like the secret niche? Maybe that's what's happening right now. I don't know. But I'm kind of looking forward to. We're recording this early, so they probably already dropped. But I've been kind of thinking of some eBay tips and tricks, some things that have been pretty useful for me. And I'm hoping to make some more shorts on those, some specific kind of usable tricks and tips that are very quick, 15 to 20 seconds. So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube, if you haven't moved over, maybe you're just listening to the podcast right now, go over, subscribe to our YouTube, watch some of our old content. We've got a lot of shorts up. We've got a lot of other stuff. The Monday minis, if you haven't been seeing our Monday minis, go check them out. We've got a lot of Saturday videos. We've got some garage sale ride-alongs. We've got some haul videos. There's a ton of stuff over there. So I'm excited to make some more of those. And again, would love to have some of you who are just on the podcast side, come on over, show some love to the YouTube side, watch a couple of our videos, because we got a huge community that listen, right? And I think there's a reason. The long form content, it's nice when you're driving, listing, all those things. But we'd love for you to come over and check out the YouTube side and see some of the content we're producing there. Hopefully you can take something from it there. And if you've taken value from our podcast at all, you'll probably find some value over on the YouTube side. So go over, subscribe. I know we ask every episode, but just trust me. Go over, subscribe, watch some of our content, give us some feedback, and you're going to enjoy it.
And there's an awesome rap video there.
Ooh, yeah, we should start pushing that out again.
I know I am tomorrow. I forgot. I'm trying to, every week I'm trying to just do some kind of drop on our social media about it. So, all right. Hey, so I'm looking forward to just traveling. I mean, I've done already a little bit of traveling, but I love it when I go to the stores that no resellers have gone to, which does exist. There are certain parts in California and the following, the surrounding states that, maybe it takes a little bit longer to get there. Maybe it's, people aren't thinking about this place, and I've had some major scores. And so I'm looking forward to that. I do like just the random travel. I've mentioned that before, but I'm looking to doing more of that. I don't know. I wait all year for Q4, and I hope that this time takes forever. I hope that it feels like it's never going to end, because when it ends, man, I get hit hard. But, yeah, I'm just looking forward to more of it. I'm looking more to the treasure hunt. Hey, if you see me out there, just say hi. Don't worry if, whatever is my card is your card. We'll just keep it between you and me, and we're not going to share it with anybody else because it's retail arbitrage. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to it more. The van's been good to me. And I don't know how much longer I'll have the van. It all depends if I randomly come across a larger item that will sell well. That's the big thing. But yeah, things have been good. So I'm looking forward to doing some more traveling.
Yeah.
So hopefully this episode, man, I feel like we shared a lot on this episode of all kinds of places, but all hopefully beneficial and help you out, because we are in the midst of Q4 here. Yeah. And it's just going to get crazy. And with that being said, make sure to be real,
be relevant,
and be reselling. Peace.